So around this time is when we start to get flooded with the same disappointment every year around this time or when you're talking about the NBA or NFL draft. Social media is always up in arms when you talk about black athletes dating white women.
So
Well, there's
stupid.
a viral clip that it is very stupid. Um, but I might surprise you with
Mhm.
this. So while there's a it's a viral clip that's going around, quote unquote, explaining why this takes
Mhm.
place. Um, don't know the creator's name, but in the clip he says athletes date white women because their girls look up to Taylor Swift and white girls. I'm assuming he's saying
Mhm.
when he says their girls, um, and black girls look up to Megan Thee Stallion. Ignorant to
Mhm.
me. Um, but then he goes on to say that black women expect to be pampered, especially in this NIL age where they know the players have the money. The players don't want to deal with that, and the white girls will treat them to dinner, take them. They appreciate the small coffee dates and stuff like
Mhm.
that, whereas black women
Mhm.
don't. Sticks, how do you feel about this clip? Do you think it's an accurate depiction of why black athletes date white women? Um, that's the first question. Second question is why is this always like why is this still in 2024? Why is the interracial relationships dating a hot button topic?
So I'm gonna address the second question first. I think me personally, love is love. It don't matter who you love and who you fall in love with, or who you decide to spend life with and experience life with. If it's a white girl, black girl, Asian girl, Indian, it don't matter, bro. Like you love who you love, and you appreciate who
Mm-hmm.
appreciates you back. You respect who respects you back. You reciprocate if reciprocation is given. So it don't matter, bro. To me, whoever you find love in is whoever you find love with, and lean into that, marry that. You know what I'm saying? Experience life with that. It don't to me. It don't necessarily matter, bro. If I, my girl is black, but if if before her I decided to date a white girl, I dated a white girl. Who cares? Like who fucking cares? Really? Who cares? And I
Mm-hmm.
agree. I agree with. I agree a little bit with you know what I'm saying the state of the relationships and dating in our community is honestly right now in shambles, bro. It's in shambles, and I would love to see our people together more often, and that's fine. But I would like to see that. But to me, it don't really matter. To be perfectly honest, like if somebody if my boys wanted to date a white girl, we gonna if as long as she treat her right, we gonna treat it the same. Like it don't matter. Now, as far as the conversation, it's it's one of them things that like the way our community is depicted in society is the reason why this conversation keeps coming up, because you have women like Meg Thee Stallion, you got women like Lotto, and I don't even know if she's in the black community because she's Hispanic, but then you got Cardi B, and now you got Sexy Red, and now you got these other little artists that are coming out that are talking about the same thing Sexy Red talk about. And it's so weird, bro, because media makes our how do I want to say this? Media makes our black women out to seem as if they're lesser than a lot oftentimes, more often than not. And it's just weird, bro, because you literally hear songs like Ski Yee, songs like F My Baby Daddy, songs like WAP, and it's all sung by our people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Women of color. And it's so weird. And us as men, we don't go towards that. To be perfectly honest with you, it's when we're looking for relationships. I don't want you out here talking about how wet your thing is, how you know what I'm saying, like how you got multiple baby dads and you don't want to deal with them, how your coochie pink and your booty hole brown. We don't want to hear you talk about that. But to us, it's not womanly. To us, it's not ladylike. And I think a lot of women that are ladylike would agree with that. And that is how our women are portrayed in society these days. And they putting this on the radio for our kids to hear. And I think that's what, and it doesn't seem in public perception like our white counterparts are going that route. It doesn't seem like it. They might say it subtly in some of their songs, and we don't necessarily catch it because we don't listen to their music. But our music is blasted on the radio. Hip hop culture is the leading culture in America. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you got people like, Kendrick saying Drake is a culture vulture. That's why you got people saying that Justina Valentine is a culture vulture. You got DJ Vlad is a culture vulture. You got, they talk about Lotto being a culture vulture. And because they have their mixed race and they're in the hip hop community. So it's like, it's just the way that our women are portrayed in society and on social media and in the media that has a lot of these athletes saying that that's not what we look for in women. So why would we why would we go for that? And that's why they're dating the other race, because, and as far as they want to be taken care of in this NIL age, do I agree with it? Do I think black women do it and white women don't? No. I don't think it's that over the top. I don't think all black women are doing that. And I don't think no white women are doing it. I think some of them would probably be like, okay, this man getting $2 million from this Gatorade sponsorship. He got the bread. I want him to take care of me too. A lot of women like security regardless, whether it's financially, protection, what I'm saying, whatever it is, they're going to like that security. So if they feel like you're an NFL player, they got the security, the protection of that, what I'm saying, as far as you taking care of them, protecting them, and then the financial security, you possibly going to the league, but you also got millions in NIL in college, then they gonna lean towards that. And I'm not saying that the white women aren't doing it, but you only hear this from black women in the media, and that's what in the media is what's killing it. I don't think all black women are like that. I think they can find some amazing black women in college, but their experience is that. Their experience is that because they have that notoriety and they have the bread and that's what their experience is. And you can't speak for all black women whenever it's just your experience and what you've experienced. So that's how I feel about it. I think it's a dumb argument. I think it's a dumb conversation. And of course he went viral for saying it because it's going to pull on some heartstrings. It's going to make some people upset. But it's a dumb argument. It's a dumb conversation to have, bro. It's so stupid that they're making it seem like our black women are like this. But that's what the media portrays, and that's what black women in the media, in entertainment, are portraying right now. And it's sad, bro. It's sad. What you think?
So I have mixed feelings about this, pun intended.
Heard you.
Because I don't know. For those that listen to us on a regular, I always talk about my wife. But
what's up, sis?
My wife is white presenting. Her friends say she's white presenting. She's lighter than me, but she's mixed. She has no issues with. Just get this out of the way. She has no issues with. I don't want to say playing both sides. She understands that her skin looks the way it does, so people will perceive her as being fully white. However, she probably is. This is gonna be dumb. She probably is more black than I am, if we're being honest.
I can see why. I can see why you say that. I can see why you say that.
And now, I'll say why, because some of the things that she stands for and like she's passionate about, like I'm like, well, you at least have to have a conversation with this person. You know what I mean? Not to give too much information away, but she's very passionate about certain things when it comes to how people are treated, so on and so forth. Like if you're not on her side with it, most times she don't want to hear it. She's starting to open up more as I'm in her ear. I'm like, okay, you at least have to have a conversation to understand why they feel that way. And then you might change their opinion on it. They may change their opinion on it. Getting off topic here, but I have a white presenting wife. And the reason I have mixed feelings about it is because for me, like you said, you love who you love, you like who you like, and it shouldn't have anything to do with your skin complexion or that type of thing. And so most of the players that you see in these drafts, not all, but most, they attended PWIs.
For sure.
And so in their proximity, the majority of women on those campuses tend to be white. Small percentage is black, small percentage Latino, small percentage Asian, so on and so forth. So on campus, they're seeing these white girls, some attractive, maybe some aren't attractive, whatever the case is. They're flocking around because of their notoriety. They're giving them attention because of their notoriety. Some of these players may even come from a mixed household. Some of these players may be curious because where they come from,
never seen
white girls aren't prevalent. And so now that they're getting that attention from them, it's like, well, let me see what this is about. If she with it, I'm with it. You know what I mean? I went to PWI. I've moved all around Fayetteville, so I've experienced all different types of coaches in Fayetteville. The high school we went to predominantly black, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, but when I got to my college, Wake Forest, PWI, when I first got there, just about every black girl on campus was an athlete. There wasn't many other black girls on campus. There was a lot of white girls on campus, obviously. So I feel like the proximity plays a piece into why we see what we see in the draft. However, I'm not going to act like I haven't had conversations with other men, black men, not just athletes, for why they typically date outside their race. And again, I love black women. My wife would smack the taste out my mouth if she ever heard me say that I don't like black women, right? I don't respect black women. But I mean, it's not just black women. I am attracted to all races. And so, but back to the point, I have heard multiple men say why they don't like black women. And I feel like the reason this is still a hot button topic in 2024 is because 26% of black men date outside the race or are married to somebody outside of the race, and 12% of black women date outside the race or are married outside of the race. And so we know, because of the systemic racism and all of the jazz that's going on right now, that the percentages of black men compared to black women are a lot lower now because of men being in jail, maybe homosexual, whatever the case may be. Heterosexual black men, statistically, from what I have read, I don't know if this is actually true, but that there are a lot less heterosexual black men available to black women than there's ever been before. And so the black women's pool of men already is lower than it should be. Of available heterosexual men is already lower than it should be. And then you have 26% of those available heterosexual men date outside their race. Now, that's a good question. I don't know if this 26% is saying across the board, like heterosexual or homosexual, or I just know it's 26%.
It's all good.
So you have that already. You have the available heterosexuals already dwindled down, and then those that dwindle down, not from being homosexual or being incarcerated, that percentage is dating outside the race. So now you have a smaller pool. I feel like black women feel shunned, and I understand why they feel that way, especially when you have the narrative out there is like they're too aggressive, they're too ratchet, they're too whatever the case may be. And so they're trying to they're trying to play the game and be with who they want to be with, because like I said, only 12% date outside their race. Black women date outside of race. They want to be with black men, but it's not seeming like black men want to be with them. So I have mixed feelings about it, because I don't feel like it's strictly because of what was said in this clip, like the ratchetness, or because they want to be pampered, they want to be taken care of, they don't want to do anything. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like I haven't heard the conversation before.
Right. And I feel where you're going with that. It's just one of those things where if because I came from, but shoot, about 75% of Fayetteville is the hood. But I grew up on the Mert, which is historically the most dangerous part of Fayetteville. I went to E. Smith, which was the probably the blackest school in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I went to a HBCU.
At the time,
yeah, I went to a HBCU where you rarely see any white people in general. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
I have never been in a relationship with a white girl, because that's not what I've ever been presented with. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I would never have done
Right.
it, but I haven't. You know what I'm saying? I've been friends with some white girls. You know what I'm saying? But I've never been in a relationship with one. If you feel what I'm saying.
I'm with you. I follow you. I follow you. But that, yeah. I mean, but that's.
But I had to go.
I consider that the same thing, so to speak. I mean, you might not have been in a full on relationship with them, but you've had some
experience, right?
run-ins.
But it wasn't because I was presented with it on the regular. I had to be at Duke or at NC State or at UNC or at UNCG or UNC Charlotte or somewhere around the proximity of a PWI to be able to experience that. Because I went from Fayetteville to Durham. Both of them are hand in hand hood, basically the same. You feel what I'm saying? So like, I was not around too many white folk. You see what I'm saying? So
in those two cities, the majority is
black,
the ethnicities,
for sure.
Yeah,
the people of color. So it's one of those things where I was never presented with it, but I can understand D-Lo's argument about, they probably came from situations like mine, like me and D-Lo's, and from the hood, ended up being a 5-star athlete, going to a predominant PWI, and that's all you see. And then you got the media portraying the black woman as if they're ratchet. They got multiple baby daddies. They all they do is twerk. They talk about their body parts. They do all of these things is what the media is portraying all women to be. And as a man, that's not what we go after. You know what I'm saying? So not all of us, in a sense. Not all of us.
So yes, you're right. The normal man, not I was gonna say normal black man, but just a normal man in general. We typically don't go for that. We enjoy looking at it.
Agreed.
However, when it's talking about being in a relationship with this person, with that type of person, typically is shunned upon. But as I'm talking about this out loud, we have situations where high profile celebrities, whatever, in our culture, it seems like that is what they go for. And let's think about what we just talked about earlier, with the beef, not necessarily Drake and Kendrick, but just all the beefs that's been going on in 2024, the Quavo and Chris Brown beef. Now I'm not calling Karuchi or Sweetie that type, but they have been with multiple individuals right. They don't carry themselves. Sweetie's debatable. She's on the fence.
Yes, she is.
She's on the fence.
I mean, 6-figure man.
Karuchi not so much.
6-figure. I want a 6-figure. Type. She talk about wanting to be pampered, taken care of, don't want to work. All of these things. That's what she talk about, and that's fine. And like you said, Karuchi, not necessarily. Her music wasn't about that for real. But
Karuchi, she doesn't sing.
What was Karuchi trans?
She's an actress.
That's right. That's right. You're right.
She was a model / actor. Right.
Right.
But again, proximity, same thing. Proximity. So like they are those two women that I'm talking about. They are celebrities. They've only dated celebrities, so to speak, since as long as we've known them. And so, but to us, to the outside world looking in, it's like, bro, these dudes could have any woman they want. Why they continue to date the same women? Why they continue to sleep with the same women and cause all these issues? So like the proximity thing for me is the in this, why do black athletes date white women is the main thing for me. And I know that's why it's a big argument and a big push for black athletes to come back home to HBCUs so you can avoid that situation. But again, it's you love who you love. Sometimes even if they go to a HBCU, this has been my argument the whole time we've had this podcast when we talk about the different topics, and when we talk about stuff like this, where it's racial tension or some type of hot button topic, we don't own anything. So even if they go to HBCU, they get drafted to the NFL, they gonna be right back in the proximity of white people. So like, you love who you love, man. What catches your eye is what catches your eye. Yeah, if they go to HBCU, it's probably a better opportunity for them to remain with a black woman or be with a black woman. But I mean, who's to say? You really don't know.
Yeah, you really
just
don't.
because you see it on the draft night or whatever doesn't mean like those relationships are going to be forever, because we know a lot of them don't last forever once they get to the league.
I think a lot of it has to do with how our women of color are portrayed in the media. I think it has a lot to do with it. Hypersexualized, what they talk about, what they rap about, and I think that's just a small subset of women. I know all of our black women don't like that shit. Your wife don't like it, my girl don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not all of our women. You know what I'm saying? So, but it is making it the clip, which I'll put a link to in the description box below, so y'all can go check it out. The clip is making it seem like all of our black women are like this. You know what I'm saying? And
which is why the athletes
do what they do.
To me, that's why I'm on the fence about it. It's stupid.
It's so stupid.
But I have seen and heard these conversations had before, and I'm like, y'all boys can't be serious.
They can't be, D-Lo. But I mean, I understand the argument because of the portrayal of our women, but it's stupid because it's not all of them. And you can find on the PWI a cultured woman, you know what I'm saying, a woman of color, to be able to have a relationship with that's not about that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just take all that shit with a grain of salt. It went viral, but it went viral for the wrong shit, for real. Oh, you still here. So that must mean you love the content. And if that is the case, there's a video on the screen right here. Go ahead and click that, view that. We think you're going to love that one as well. And we still have the 600 subscriber goal. And if you see the top right-hand corner, there's a button on the screen. Go ahead and click that, subscribe to the channel. And we're on all your streaming platforms, wherever you find your podcasts.